Hello, you may be thinking that's an odd title for a video, my problem with martial artists. And the issue is when it comes to my film reviews. Now, anyone that knows me knows I love martial arts. I love all kinds of martial arts. The more traditional ones rather than sport ones are my favourite, but I'm into all of it. I love karate. I trained for karate for many years. The only reason I'm not doing karate now is because of my health. If my health was better, then I would still be training. And as I couldn't train because of my health, one of the things I did was review lots of martial art films, kung fu films, karate films, all sorts of things. And this is where the problem is, you see. If a film is bad, I will say it's bad. If I don't like it, I will say I don't like it. And martial artists don't hear that. They hear something completely different. So the thing is, if I'm watching a romantic film, or a thriller, or an action film, or a horror film, or a drama, it doesn't matter what the genre is. There has to be certain things about this film that appeal to me. It has to have a good storyline. Okay, it doesn't matter what the genre is, it has to have a good story. There has to have characters that I actually care about. There's no point having this big budget film if it's just full of people that I don't care about, or I just can't get into. Well, that's basically it, really, a story and characters. And the story has to kind of make sense as well. It can't have too many plot holes. Some films do have plot holes, as long as they're not like glaring in your face, I can overlook it. But if it's like really big issue, then it's like, why? And also, if things just happen just for the sake of it, things that would never ordinarily happen in real life, but they want them to happen just because the film says this has to happen, and therefore it happens, even though you'd know in reality that it would never happen. And even if it's something like a Marvel film, although that is completely fictional, they do try and have some kind of logic to it. This happened here, so therefore this happens here, and it's kind of a continuity. And then this is where I get onto my problem with martial artists and doing film reviews for martial art films. If I say, for example, a romantic film I thought was a bit daft and the characters were a bit silly, people would be like, okay, yeah, that film was a bit daft and the characters are a bit silly. If I was watching an action film and I said I didn't think the action was very believable, or there's way too many explosions and that just wouldn't happen in real life, then people are like, okay, that's fine. But if I say about a martial art film, I didn't think the story was particularly believable, or I thought the acting was a bit stilted, or maybe I would say there's a lot of flashbacks, for example. Okay, here's a bit of heresy. I don't think Koryobi is the greatest karate film in the world. Okay, I just don't, and I know a lot of people will hate me for that. But in my opinion, it isn't. And one of the criticisms I say about it in my film review, when I made that, it has a lot of unnecessary flashbacks. Okay, I'm not disrespecting the karate. I'm not disrespecting the heritage of Japan or the martial arts. But the film does have a lot of unnecessary flashbacks. But if I was to say something like that, suddenly the martial artists are hearing, you hate martial arts, you hate karate, how dare you, you don't understand the history of the country, you don't understand all this, you don't know anything about karate, you shouldn't be talking about this, you shouldn't be talking about karate if you don't understand it. It's like, whoa, where's all this coming from? It's simply, I'm saying, I don't think the story is brilliant in certain films. I had one a little while ago in Fighter in the Wind, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to delete this comment because it's a stupid comment, basically saying that I don't understand anything about martial arts. I do understand stuff about martial arts. I can't actually really remember the film. I know I didn't think it was the best film ever. I remember that much. I'm not going to go back and watch my review to see what I said about it. But any martial art film where I say, I don't think this is the greatest martial art film ever, I think the story was a bit daft, I thought the acting was a bit stilted, I didn't think it flowed very well. If I said that in any genre, people would be cool with it. If I said that in a drama, I thought, oh no, the story was a bit stilted. If I said that in a thriller, saying, oh, I thought that some of the special effects were a bit dodgy or whatever, they'll be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But if I say anything about a martial art film, saying I thought the effects were a bit dodgy, I thought the choreography on the fight scene could have been better, Like some martial art films got great choreography, great uh, camera angles and stuff, and you can really see the action, you can really see the skill from the actors, and it's very impressive. Other films, it just isn't. And it's the same with any type of film. Some films are brilliant and other films aren't. But every time I criticize a karate film, it's suddenly I don't understand anything about Okinawa or Japan or the history, and I shouldn't be criticizing what I don't understand, and I don't know anything about karate or anything. It's like, what the hell are you going on about? It's a film review. I am reviewing a film. It's like, I am not criticizing karate. I am not criticizing martial arts. I am not criticizing the history of Okinawa or Japan or China if I'm doing a kung fu film or whatever. I am purely talking about the film. That is it. And if I think there is something wrong with the film, I will say there is something wrong with the film. And people don't seem to get that. And it really bothers me. And I just don't understand why people are so stupid, for a lack of a better word. It's like, if I was watching a romantic film and I didn't think the two lead characters had a believable romance, and I was like, well, this is supposed to be a romantic film and I don't think their romance is realistic, that doesn't mean I don't believe in romance. It doesn't mean I don't think love is real. It means I have a problem with that film. I think the story isn't great. But yet if I say, oh, in a martial art film, I didn't think the storyline made any sense, suddenly people are like, oh, how dare you? You don't criticize karate. I do karate. I've trained in karate for 20,000 years and I'm a black belt ninja, and how dare you criticize my lifestyle and my choices and blah blah blah. And it's like, what on earth are you going on about? I'm talking about a film. Anyway, that's my problem with martial artists. They just can't seem to separate martial art in the real world from a film. A film which isn't necessarily the greatest film on earth. And I'm going to say it again, Koryobi is not the greatest karate film in the world. I know people will hate me for that. And you know what? I don't care, because it isn't. There's too many flashbacks. And another thing about martial art films, they all have exactly the same story. They have the master, they have the students, they have a bad guy. They need to set up some kind of fight, that's fine. And the student chooses violence. And it's like, okay, let's go around beating up everyone. And then it's like, well, who is the real bad guy? The bad guy or the student? And then in the end, the student realises that peace is actually the answer all along, and the end. There's like 1,000,000,001 films of that storyline. So if I was to say, oh, I don't think this karate film has got an original storyline, it's because I've seen it hundreds of times. And if I was to say, I don't think this karate film has got an original storyline because I've seen it hundreds of times, what martial artists here is, how dare you criticise everything that I've trained for and my entire worldview, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, shut up, okay? I don't care, all right? I seriously don't care, all right? If I've seen the story 100 times, I'm going to say I've seen the story 100 times, and I don't understand how that in any way impacts you and your martial art and what you train and do and all the history and stuff you've done and how many times you visited Okinawa bears no bearing on a film story that I've seen before. It just doesn't. And I don't understand why people can't comprehend that. It's annoying. Anyway, rant over. I'm off. Bye.